Okay, so I'm finally getting around to try to troubleshoot why the LiTime 60 amp DC to DC charger that I bought is not working. It's tripping out whether I select 60 amps or even 30 amps. So I think either the wiring is the issue, because all I have in there is like a wire that I pulled off of a set of jumper cables, which is probably 10 gauge, and it's running the length of the van. So that's gonna potentially cause some voltage drop, which could trigger a low voltage alarm on the charger, and then that's gonna cause it to trip out. The other option would be my alternator is not up to the task, and that's possible. I think it's the 120 amp alternator that's on this van. But even if I turn everything off, no air conditioning, no heater, no lights, no anything, it seems like it's still tripping out. So, all right, so I'm gonna use, I don't know, one of these multimeters here, and I'm gonna rehook the cables back up, because right now it's set up to the stinger, because this thing's just not working. So it's not connected. I'm going to take the wire from the stinger. Thankfully, this is one of the wires that I labeled. There's still some wires up in this entire area that I put together that I see that I did not label. And I just took the cover off, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, well, what does this go to? I don't even remember already. So some of these I need to get in here and label so I can just look and find out, because I don't want to pull this off a year from now and be like, what the hell is all this shit? So fortunately, I can just pull this wire off of here, connect it down there, and this is the jumper cable. This is just one piece of a jumper cable that it's long, so it stretches the whole length of the van, which is one of the reasons I used it. But this could be causing a voltage drop enough to signal that. If not, it'd be most likely the alternator. So I'm going to pull this wire here, connect it here. I'm going to measure the voltage up front, and I'm going to measure the voltage back here, and see if I get a voltage drop, then I'll know that's my problem. And if that's the problem, then I went ahead and already bought a couple more, just in anticipation of all this. I've got a couple sections of this. This is 2 gauge, so these are 6-foot cables. So 2 of these together is 12 feet, plus 12 feet, that's 24 feet. That's enough to go the whole length of the van if I connect these together. So they've got this end, I could just put a bolt through there, and that would connect them and be good enough. So if I find the wire is the problem, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I was hesitant just because it was such a pain in the ass to route the wire all the way back. I drilled a hole in the floor halfway back, somewhere under the couch. But I think what I would do now is, there's a hole below the brake pedal to access the shock on the driver's side. And so what I'll do is I'll just send it, if I end up doing that. So the wire starts here, goes into a fuse, comes all the way over, and goes down, and goes underneath the length of the van until it gets to the back, somewhere under here, and goes up through the floor. And instead, what I'll do is I'll take it, and in fact, I can see it right there, that red wire's that wire. So there's this access point right here. I'll send it up through there. That way I don't got to drill another hole, and then it can go inside the rest of the way back. So that will make it easier. Not like any of this is easy, but it'll be easier to deal with. So let me go ahead and hook this up and get the meter connected, and see what this thing's telling me. So there's the suspect right there. I think I have everything set up properly. Let me start the van. Alright, that is clearly not right. Okay, so I don't know what's up with this meter here. I thought I had it set up right, but on this meter here, I'm definitely getting a voltage drop. I'm below 13 volts, and this is measuring at the input. So it's well over 14 volts up at the battery. So that tells me that this wire is the problem. So now I've got to reroute a whole new wire, and that maybe should solve the problem. That's a project for another day though, but at least I know that this is the issue and I know how to fix it. So we'll tackle this, I don't know, maybe tomorrow or something, the next day. So I was standing here in this new storage unit, which is bigger than the last one, about twice the size. Maybe not twice the size, but twice as wide. Because I got tired of not being able to open my doors without smacking the wall. So this one became available, and so I grabbed it. And you know, I was in here the other day. The manager came by, and he was just looking over here, like he was looking at all this coolant that I have sitting here, and he just wanted to make sure that that wasn't like gasoline or something. I was like, oh no, it's just, I had to drain my coolant like 50 times and it's still not done. And then he pointed out, he says, hey, you know this light up here? He says this thing, which you can't even, like, it's so bright, it whites out the whole image. And it's the same thing when I look at it, I get blinded. But he's like, I think that thing fans out, you know, one of those lights where it's like LED, but the sides will open up and give you even more light. And he's like, if you can get up there somehow, you might be able to open that thing up. So I was standing here, so I was like, okay, let me try that. So I got the ladder out, I climbed up there, reached up on the light, and it does not fan out. But what I did see is that, and I don't even know if I can see it in this picture here, I can just barely see, there is an outlet right there. And then plugged into that outlet is an extension cord, which when I was standing up here, I followed it back along this rafter, and it looked like it disappeared behind this thing here. So I was like, well, so they're tapping into electricity to send it to this unit next door. But then I was like, well, that's interesting. I was like, well, maybe I could. So it's like standing here, I can't see it. Number one, my eyes are at a distance. I need glasses to see clearly, but I'm being blinded anyways. I can't see anything up there. So I was like, well, maybe I could tap into that, you know, and have like electricity if I needed to. So I was gonna go back up the ladder with the extension cord, and then as I was looking over from this angle, I see that this electrical cord actually drops down and runs along this rafter. And so I was like, okay, so the people here before me were tapping into this outlet and using the power for whatever they needed to do. So I grabbed an extension cord, climbed up this ladder over here, and plugged in. And so I'm gonna see, I mean, I think that'll work, unless the extension cord over here is bad. I mean, I don't know, maybe, I can't imagine that this outlet doesn't have power when the light itself has power. So I'm gonna test this to see if it gets power, because if it does, I mean, that could actually come in handy. I mean, I don't know how much I need. I have my own power, but once in a while. So let me find something to plug into this thing and see if this actually works. Okay, so I'm gonna set up this wiring right here. I'm gonna connect it all together, and then I'm gonna get the probe out of here, and I'm gonna I'm gonna connect it to the battery, and I'm gonna leave the other end open, and I'm gonna test it, and I'm gonna see if there's a voltage drop after I get all that wire connected together. If there's not, then I'm gonna, then I'll go ahead and connect it to this DC to DC charger. So basically the idea is I'm gonna save myself an entire day's worth of doing all that bullshit and running that wire, just in case it doesn't work. Because if I run that and check the voltage and it's fine, and then maybe I run it outside and connect it to this, and that thing works, then I know that the problem is solved, and I can go ahead and spend an entire day routing the wire behind all this other bullshit. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and I've got the doors open, so I'm going to go ahead and use one of these chargers here. I've got my battery monitor, and so I've got my plug, and we're going to plug this in and see if the battery starts charging, and then we'll know that this power is functional. So I don't really need it now. I'm at 77%. But let me go ahead and plug this in and see what happens. I got a spark. Okay, so let me go ahead and power this thing on. And I got, that's, oh, 2 red means it's on. Okay. Thought that was a fault. And it works. Look at that. 965 watts. Okay, so that means I've got shore power here, which like I've needed for so many times for different circumstances, to mainly just to test something out. Because if I don't, like, if I remember one time I had a portable air conditioner and I couldn't get it to work, and I didn't know if it was, like, I didn't know if my inverter was the problem or if the unit itself, like, there was some issue where I really needed shore power, but I didn't have shore power. So, you know, now that I have shore power, I'll probably never need it, but at least I know I've got it available to me while I'm here. Shit, just bolted it to itself. And just like that, I have a long ass wire that will stretch from the battery all the way to the back of the van. And will be plenty long enough to reach that. I'll probably have to use all 4 sections, so that's 6 times 4, so that's 24 feet of wire. So that's this is the 2 AWG, and that should be good enough for the power that I'm trying to use right here. Yeah, that's more than enough. I don't need the bigger set for what I'm doing. This 2 AWG is going to be more than enough to run, because all I'm trying to do is pull 30 amps out of it. 60 would be great. I don't know if my alternator is willing to give that much up and make that kind of a sacrifice. But 30 amps would be better than what the Stinger, I think, gives me. And this wire at this length should still be okay. So now I'm going to connect it to the battery and test for voltage drop, just to see what that gives me. And if that looks okay, or better than what this other wire was that I was using, then I'm going to connect this to that, start the engine, and see if that thing will run without any issues. And then if all that goes well, then I'll go ahead and I'll tuck this in through the engine compartment, through the floorboard, all the way behind all this other stuff, and route it finally back out to this thing, which will be kind of a big task, but that's why I'm testing first. All right, so I'm going to measure the battery. And I've got 12.65, and that's just what the battery's putting out. This battery's only like a year old. Alright, so now I'm going to go to the back. I've got my alligator clips set up so I don't have to hold this thing. And I'm at 12.65, so the voltage is not dropped. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is start the engine and do the same measurements and see what we have. Okay, so 14.3. So what this tells me is that this, where'd it go? This wire, this jumper cable wire, is most likely the problem. Because when I measured this one, it was giving me like 12 some volts, and that's probably tripping the low voltage alarm in this charger. So that means this stuff is going to work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this to the positive, and then run this DC to DC charger and just double check that it works from there. Okay, so it's working. The only problem is that it's working even when the engine is turned off, so the thing's not running now, yet this thing is still charging. And I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to do that, and I'm not sure why it would be doing that. Maybe I have to look at the manual again, or worst case scenario, I can just connect this to the Stinger first, which will isolate the battery and only charge when it's running. The problem is then I have to somehow get all the way back in there and make those connections, which would be kind of a pain in the ass again. So I don't know what all I got to take out, but I know I can't reach that. I can't reach that shit right here. So that's definitely something I'm gonna have to do later. The only other way to turn this off is to pull those little tiny wires that act as an on and off switch, because see that red wire, if I disconnect one end of that, that's the on and off switch, and that's just, I don't want to mess with that. I just want it to work when I turn the vehicle on, and then stop working when I turn it off. So, I mean, I don't want the thing running when my vehicle's turned off, because that just means that my house battery is charging, that my starter battery is charging these batteries, which I don't want that. Kill my starter battery. So I'm gonna have to figure that out another time. It's almost 1 o'clock, so I gotta get out of here. As usual, I gained some information, but didn't get a lot done. So about to fix this and finish the whole thing up next time, I guess.